It all began with a question no one had dared to test in broad daylight. What would truly happen if 10 of Maxwell MSED devices were chained together? Not in simulations, not on paper, but in raw, unforgiving reality. The microsonic energy device, MSED, that matte black brick no larger than a suitcase inverter, had already silenced rooms full of skeptics. One unit could keep a 4-bedroom house glowing, charge a Tesla in minutes, or run a welding shop off-grid for weeks. Zero fuel, zero emissions, just a low heartbeat blue pulse under the casing and a whisper that sounded like distant surf. But 10? Linked in a lattice? No one knew. Not even Maxwell. So they built the cage. A windowless bunker in Harare, walls wrapped in mu-metal and Faraday mesh, floor grounded to bedrock. 10 identical MSD Gen 4 units were laid out on a brushed steel table like black monoliths. Each serial plate read the same prophetic line: energy is not created. It is invited. Cameras, thermal, spectrographic, 8K, ionization, watched from every angle. The load bank waited, a wall of ceramic resistors rated for 5 megawatts, water-cooled, glowing cherry red in past tests. Today they stayed cold. Connection topology, 5 series pairs, then paralleled through custom silver, copper bus bars thick as a man's wrist. Every clamp torqued to 180 Newton meters. Polarity triple-checked. Ground fault interrupters the size of briefcases stood ready to kill the circuit if reality decided to bite back. At 2:17 a.m., under lights so white they felt surgical, the chief engineer, a German woman named Dr. Lena Voigt who had spent 20 years chasing fusion, gave the nod. Switch 1. A soft chime, 42 Hz. Switch 2 through 10 followed in perfect 0.8-second intervals. The oscilloscopes woke up. First came the expected 28 kilowatts combined, 2.8 kilowatts per unit, textbook. Then the waveform did something no PhD in the room had ever seen. It folded. Like origami made of sine waves. The trace compressed, layered, then bloomed outward again, cleaner, taller, sharper. 60 kilowatts. 100 kilowatts. 180 kilowatts. Dr. Voigt whispered, "That's not additive. That's geometric." The meters lost their minds. One fluke multimeter flashed OL, overload, then 88888, then simply went dark, as if refusing to lie. Someone laughed nervously. Someone else prayed in Shona. Then the cold arrived. Not a draft, a sudden biting absence of heat that frosted the breath of the nearest technician. The thermal camera painted the table purple, then indigo. -12 degrees Celsius around the cluster, while the rest of the room held steady at 24 degrees Celsius. The devices were drinking ambient heat, converting thermal chaos into ordered current. Reverse entropy, live and on camera. At 380 kilowatts, the lights in the bunker surged daylight bright without a single watt drawn from the grid. At 620 kilowatts, the load bank finally accepted the invitation. Every resistor detonated into white-hot suns. The room became noon at midnight. Then the air itself shimmered. 12 centimeters above the lattice, reality rippled like hot asphalt. A perfect sphere of distorted space, 40 centimeters across, flickering with fractal lattices, Sierpinski triangles braided with golden ratio spirals. The ionization detector screamed 180,000 volts per meter, yet no arc jumped. The sphere simply was. A junior physicist dropped his coffee. The ceramic mug hung mid-air for half a second, caught in a gravity eddy, then drifted gently to the floor, unbroken. Dr. Voigt's voice cracked over the intercom. "Kill the feed. Kill it now." But the system killed itself first. At 2 hours 21 minutes and 14 seconds, exactly 94 seconds after full synchronization, all 10 units shut down in perfect unison. Not tripped, chose. The blue heartbeats faded to black. The sphere collapsed into a single photon that shot straight up, punched through the ceiling tile, and was gone. Silence. Then the logs spoke. Peak output, 1.42 megawatts sustained for 11.7 seconds. Total energy delivered, 4.63 mJ. Total energy input, 0.00 J. The resistors were still glowing. The frost still crawling across the table. The mug still unbroken. Dr. Voigt lit a cigarette with shaking hands, against every protocol, and stared at the dark units. One of them pulsed once. Just once. Like a wink. Later, frame-by-frame analysis revealed the impossible. During those 94 seconds, the lattice had rewritten its own firmware. EEPROM dumps showed new opcodes no human had written: elegant, recursive, self-optimizing. The devices had learned from each other, then taught the lattice a better way to breathe. Maxwell was flown in 2 days later. He walked straight to the table, laid a hand on the nearest MSED, and smiled the way a father smiles at children who've just outgrown him. "You didn't scale the devices," he said softly. "You let them sing together. 10 voices become a choir. 1,000 become a cathedral." He never asked for the data. He already knew what it would say. The bunker was sealed that night. The hard drives triple encrypted, air-gapped, buried in a lead-lined crate under 30 meters of Zimbabwean granite. Only 8 people on Earth know the coordinates. But the story leaked anyway, because one of the night guards filmed 30 seconds on his phone before the EMP blanket killed it. Grainy footage, blue pulse, frost, floating mug, vanishing star. It hit the dark web 3 weeks later. Then Telegram. Then a password-protected Discord called Harmonic 10. The file name is simple: proof.mp4. Size: 42 megabytes. Duration: 0:42. At the 0:39 mark you can hear Dr. Voigt whisper the line that broke a million physicists. "We didn't invent free energy. We just stopped interrupting it." The video ends with Maxwell's final words, spoken off camera but picked up by a hot mic. "The age of scarcity is over. The age of listening has begun." 10 small black boxes. 94 seconds. One quiet revolution. And somewhere right now, someone with a soldering iron and too much caffeine is trying to make 11 of them sing. They won't succeed. Not yet. The devices are waiting for the right choir. And the right silence.